to another episode of Cab Fit. Today we're going to be making some delicious fat bombs. So these are very nutrient-dense, low-carbohydrate treats. You can either use them to up your macros, or you can use them actually as a meal source. I would generally add additional vegetables or make some modifications with that, but they can. We're going to put a bit of protein in them, so you can actually use them as a food source. You kind of know why I cook and train and whatnot the way I do already, hopefully. If not, there's some videos on that you can watch at your own leisure. But let's just get to it, make these things, and hopefully get you guys making some too. All right, let's go. All right, so my last video, I was admittedly a little bit rambly, so I'm gonna keep things succinct, short and sweet. So let's take a quick look at the ingredients. First, we've got some pots and pans back there, so we're gonna be using those just to melt. These are no bake, but we're gonna melt the chocolate just over sort of a boiling hot water. So it's like pot over pot. I'll show that very quickly. There'll be a split screen with the image of that happening. We've got 750 grams of our favorite nut butter. Now keep in mind, peanuts are not a nut, they're a legume. They also have aflatoxins and some other stuff that you probably shouldn't consume in large quantities. So yeah, we're gonna stick with some healthier nut options. So this is just a cashew butter, all right? So 750 grams of that, that's approximately half that tub. I'm going to use a measuring cup too, just to make sure that I'm not going over in my macros. To put them in, we have these little guys here. Ideally, just to be eco-friendly, you're going to want to get the silicone ones. We don't have any right now, but I would recommend those for Mother Earth. All right. We've got, back to the ingredients. We've got 400 grams, because two of these boxes of 100% cacao. So there's no sugar, no milk solids, nothing. It's just 100% cacao. All right, I think I pronounced that correctly. We're going to have 2 to 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. That is going to go both into the chocolate base, because I'm making these like little Reese peanut butter cups. So there's going to have like a hard chocolate bottom. It's going to go both into that and into the actual nut butter mixture. That's what makes it into a fat bomb. That's what makes it cohesive and holds it all together. We've got a couple other things here. So we have, I don't use this anymore, but some people use this because it's very easy to find. Swerve, which I believe is a plant fiber mixed with, so it's erythritol mixed with maybe stevia or something. It's 0-calorie sweetener. It's easy to find in the grocery store. So that's one option for your sweetening. And the other option, of course, is just 100% powdered stevia extract. Find a really clean one that has, a really nice concentration of stevia in it. You can also use the raw one, but I find it tastes really weird. I'm just going to be honest. It's probably a healthier option, but it's green and it tastes weird, so I wouldn't recommend it. And finally, to make these a bit more nutritive, I also have my cricket protein powder. So we talked about this before. Grosses some people out. Don't eat it if you have a shellfish allergy, but it is one of the healthiest things you can eat. It's got gobs of protein, absolutely like no carbohydrates to speak of. Half of them are fiber, and it barely tastes like anything. It actually gives these things, I mean, this is going to sound gross, but it gives them a bit of a crunch, a bit of texture. So anyways, we're going to be putting those in them just because I like to have them as a bit more of a meal post-workout. They're quick and easy, and I can grab a few and then just get right back to my clients at the gym. All right, let's get started. Okay, step 1, we have arranged our little muffin cups. All right, so I think there's a total of 27 there. So when you're doing your macros, you're going to divide the calories in the nut butter plus the chocolate, which actually the chocolate doesn't have that much, plus any protein source you're adding, and you're going to divide that by 27, or by the number of cups that you specifically are using. All right, so it comes out to about 175 calories per fat bomb, which is very, very low. And a lot of that's going to be from protein and fat. There's probably like less than 1 gram of sugar in each actual cup. All right, that's step 1. Step 2. Okay, so here we have our broken up Camino chocolate. If you've had a bad day, you can work out a bit of your angst and just bash that chocolate up a bit like I did. I'm not really an angry person, though. I just did it because it needs to be done. And I've got just the chocolate, and then I've got however much stevia or sweetener I would like to taste. Keep in mind, if you're using stevia, it's something like 100 times sweeter than sugar. So, I've got like maybe, I think, 2 tablespoons there. Not even actually, but a tablespoon and a half. And then I've got about a heaping tablespoon and a half of coconut oil. The reason why the coconut oil is important is it's going to add softness and as well cohesion, as I mentioned, to the mixture, and that includes the chocolate too. So you do this sort of to personal likes. So if you want a softer chocolate, you add a bit more. If you want a harder chocolate, I like mine a little crispy, you add a little bit less, but no more than 2 tablespoons is necessary here, all right? And once that's all together, this isn't quite boiled, but we're just gonna set this. This is how you melt chocolate. So you've got a boiling pot of water. It's not quite boiling, but it will be soon. And you just sit it there over top, and it does its thing. Eventually it melts down, and you've got the mixture, which we're gonna time lapse to in just a second. All right, so there it is, the finished product. So we've got our stevia, our coconut oil, and our cacao. We're gonna take this over while it's still nice and warm and start filling the cups with it. All right, so there we go. We have emptied the pot and we put all of our chocolate into the tins. I can't really tilt that up because they'll spill everywhere. Don't be afraid if there's a little bit left in the pan. We're gonna use that, we'll just mix it in with the nuts. And once these are done, you want to get them in the fridge as quickly as possible and let them cool for at least 20 minutes so that it all sets. All right, we're back at the stove for, what is this, step 4, I guess? So we're on step 4, and we've just taken the nut butter, our preferred protein, which is cricket in my case, that's the brown stuff. That's all those thousands of ground up little bugs, delicious. They're actually kind of good. And our 2 heaping tablespoons of coconut oil. The more coconut oil you use here, the firmer it's going to be. Obviously, you don't want to use too much because it'll be disgustingly oily and inedible, but it's what's going to like really hold everything together. And there's also some stevia, which is buried in there because you're going to want to flavor this off. I just threw this into the same pot that had the chocolate. You won't notice, and it's good to just clean up the mess that way. All right, so we're going to time lapse and get this all sort of simmer down a bit. And once it's all liquefied and ready, the cups should be ready, and we'll start filling them. Okay, so here we are with our final mixture. So you can see most of the lumps and bumps have been worked out. And you can't even really see the coloring from the chocolate at all. It's all just sort of been worked in there. And that's the consistency we want, so it should sort of roll off the spoon very gently. It's quite warm right now, just from the steam. And we're going to have to let that cool, though, before we put it in the chocolate cups. Otherwise, obviously, it will melt the chocolate base, and then you'll have just a bit of a messy peanut butter cup. So we're going to take that off the stove. And you know, it smells delicious. I wish you could smell it, because it smells delicious. I realize it looks a bit like baby poop, but, you know, and that's the second recipe, I think, that has had a stage where something looked like poop. I'm not a fecophiliac. That's just how a lot of keto recipes look at certain stages, but it will look gorgeous by the time we're done. So let's get this off and get this cooled and get it in the cups really soon. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm not going to show the last couple of steps, but you're going to repeat the exact same process with the nut butter as you did with the chocolate base. Put it back in the fridge, leave it for about an hour, and after you've let it do its thing and just solidify a bit, this is the beautiful treat that you're left with. Loaded with protein, loaded with good fats, very, very little carbohydrate, lots of fiber. I hope you like them as much as I do.